Welcome to Peaceful Nightfall. Tonight's story is here to help you slow down, relax your mind, and gently let go of the day. Get comfortable, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to rest. Tonight's story is Sunlit Forest Floorboards. As the sun's warmth seeped into the forest ranger station's wooden beams, Ranger Emma slipped off her hiking boots and let out a soft sigh. She had spent the morning tracking a family of deer through the underbrush, and now she was content to simply sit with the quiet of the afternoon. Her eyes drifted closed as she breathed in the scent of fresh-cut grass and damp earth, feeling the tension ease from her shoulders. The creaking of the old wooden floorboards beneath Emma's feet was like a gentle heartbeat as she stood up to pace across the station. Her footsteps quiet on the worn linoleum, she let her gaze wander out the window to where the trees stood tall and still, their leaves rustling softly in the afternoon breeze. As Emma's eyes roamed the forest beyond the window, the gentle sway of the treetops seemed to synchronize with her own slow breaths, calming her mind further. She began to notice the way the sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. Her footsteps quiet, she turned away from the view and made her way to the small kitchen area, where a kettle sat waiting for its afternoon tea ritual. Emma's fingers moved with deliberate slowness as she poured steaming water over the leaves of her favorite herbal blend. The aroma wafted up, carrying with it memories of countless campfires and peaceful afternoons spent in these very woods. She stirred the tea with a wooden spoon, its worn handle fitting neatly into the palm of her hand. As she waited for the brew to steep, Emma's gaze drifted back to the window, where a doe and her fawn had wandered into view, their large brown eyes watching the forest floor with quiet curiosity. Emma's tea steeped slowly, releasing its soothing scent into the air as she turned away from the window to gaze out at the stillness of the station's interior. The wooden chairs and tables, worn smooth by years of use, seemed to hold a quiet wisdom, their presence a reminder of all the moments of peaceful contemplation that had taken place within these walls. As she carried her tea to the small table near the window, Emma's eyes were drawn back to the doe and her fawn, who had wandered closer now, their large ears twitching in response to some distant sound only they could hear. The sunlight filtering through the leaves above cast a gentle glow on the forest floor, where the two deer grazed quietly, unaware of Emma's watchful gaze as she sipped her tea and let the calm of the afternoon wash over her. As she sipped her tea, Emma's eyes lingered on the doe and her fawn, their gentle movements a soothing balm to her own quiet contemplation. The steam from her cup curled up towards the ceiling, where it mingled with the faint scent of wood smoke that clung to every surface in the station. Her gaze drifted slowly around the room, taking in the worn books and dusty equipment that lined the shelves, each one telling a story of its own. The steam from her tea curled up towards the ceiling, where it mingled with the faint scent of wood smoke that clung to every surface in the station. Emma's gaze lingered on the worn, leather-bound book that lay open on a nearby shelf, its yellowed pages filled with notes and sketches of the forest's flora and fauna. As she breathed in deeply, the quiet calm of the afternoon seemed to seep into her very being, her worries and concerns slowly unwinding, like the threads of a loose knot. The doe and her fawn continued their gentle grazing, oblivious to Emma's contemplation as the sunlight filtering through the leaves above cast long shadows across the forest floor, stretching out like outstretched arms inviting her to relax further into the stillness. As she breathed in deeply, the quiet calm of the afternoon seemed to seep into her very being, her worries and concerns slowly unwinding like the threads of a loose knot. The soft ticking of the old clock on the wall blended with the distant hum of bees, collecting nectar from the wildflowers that dotted the forest floor outside, creating a gentle melody that harmonized with Emma's own slow exhalation. Her eyes drifted down to the worn wooden floorboards, where the scent of old wood and damp earth mingled with the faint aroma of tea leaves, a familiar comfort that seemed to envelop her in its warmth. The soft ticking of the clock on the wall blended with the distant hum of bees, collecting nectar from the wildflowers outside, creating a gentle melody that harmonized with Emma's own slow exhalation as she breathed in deeply through her nose and out slowly through her mouth. The worn wooden floorboards creaked softly beneath her feet as she rose to refill her teacup, her movements slow and deliberate, as if she were savoring every moment of the peaceful afternoon. The soft warmth of the sunbeam on her skin seemed to draw her attention to the small patch of sunlight that had crept onto the floor, where a tiny sprout was pushing its way up through the worn wood, its delicate green leaves unfurling like a miniature version of the forest's ancient trees. Emma's gaze lingered on this small miracle, her breathing slowing further as she absorbed the quiet vitality of the growing plant, her own sense of calm and connection to the natural world deepening with each passing moment. The warmth of the sunbeams seemed to infuse the air around her with a gentle fragrance, like the sweet scent of blooming lilacs on a spring morning. As she stood there, the soft creaking of the wooden floorboards beneath her feet blended with the distant chirping of birds in the forest outside, creating a soothing harmony that seemed to synchronize her own breathing with the rhythms of nature. Her eyes wandered upwards, tracing the gentle curve of the wooden beams that formed the ceiling of the station, and she felt herself becoming one with the quiet, unhurried pace of the afternoon. The soft glow of the lanterns on the walls cast a warm, golden light over everything, as if the very essence of the forest was seeping into the room, filling her with a deep sense of peace and tranquility. As she stood there, lost in the gentle reverie of the afternoon, Emma's gaze drifted to the collection of old photographs. On the wall, yellowed with age and worn smooth by countless gazes, the faces in the pictures seemed to smile up at her, their stories whispered on the soft breeze that rustled through the leaves outside. The wooden floorboards creaked softly beneath her feet as she stepped closer, her eyes tracing the contours of a young couple's features, the way they leaned into each other with laughter and love. The scent of old photographs and memories mingled with the tea leaves' warmth, transporting Emma to a time when life was simpler, its rhythms slower and more predictable. The soft haze of afternoon sunlight filtered through the windows, casting a warm glow on the rustic wooden furniture, the worn leather armchairs, and the old-fashioned rocking chair in the corner, its gentle creaking a soothing accompaniment to Emma's quiet contemplation. The photographs on the wall seemed to lean in, their subjects' smiles growing wider as if sharing in her peaceful reverie. As she breathed deeply, the scent of old books and memories mingled with the aroma of fresh-baked cookies wafting from around the kitchen, transporting her further into a state of serene contentment. The soft rocking of the chair in the corner seemed to synchronize with Emma's own gentle breathing, as if the old wooden frame was sharing in her peaceful reverie. The worn leather creaked softly, its familiar rhythm weaving a sense of comfort and tranquility around her. Outside, the trees whispered their secrets to each other, their leaves rustling softly in the afternoon breeze that carried the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers into the station. As she stood there, lost in the serene atmosphere, Emma's gaze drifted to the collection of old wooden canes leaning against the wall, their gnarled handles worn smooth by years of use and weathering. The rustic wooden furniture seemed to hum with a quiet contentment, as if it too had found its own peace in this slow, unhurried afternoon. The soft ticking of the old clock on the mantel blended seamlessly with the creaking of the rocking chair, and the gentle rustling of leaves outside, creating a soothing symphony that seemed to match the rhythm of Emma's breathing. As she stood there, her eyes wandered to the small, leather-bound book lying open on the coffee table, its pages yellowed with age and filled with handwritten notes in a language she couldn't quite decipher. The worn covers seemed to yield to her gaze, releasing the faint scent of old paper and forgotten stories into the air. The warmth of the afternoon sunlight infused the wooden floorboards, creating a subtle glow that seemed to seep into the very fibers of the station itself. As Emma's gaze lingered on the small book, her eyes began to blur, and the words on the pages started to fade away like morning mist in the rising sun. The gentle rocking of the chair and the soft ticking of the clock blended with the rustling leaves outside, creating a hypnotic melody that drew her deeper into the peaceful atmosphere. Outside, the trees stood tall, their branches swaying softly in the breeze as they shared ancient secrets whispered on the wind. The soft glow of the afternoon sunlight seemed to seep into Emma's very bones, warming her skin and calming her mind. Her breathing slowed, matching the gentle rhythm of the rocking chair, as she felt herself becoming one with the tranquil atmosphere of the forest ranger station. The scent of old paper and forgotten stories clung to her like a comforting mist, drawing her deeper into the peaceful reverie. The worn wooden floorboards creaked softly beneath Emma's feet as she moved slowly towards the small book, her eyes still lost in its yellowed pages. The air was heavy with air, the scent of old paper and forgotten tales, weaving itself into the fabric of her being like a gentle morning mist. As she reached out to touch the book's cover, the soft ticking of the clock on the mantel seemed to synchronize with the beating of her heart, creating a soothing cadence that drew her deeper into the tranquil atmosphere. The rocking chair creaked softly in time with her footsteps, its rhythmic motion blending with the rustling leaves outside to create a lullaby-like melody that then wrapped itself around her like a warm blanket. Outside, the trees stood sentinel, their branches swaying gently in the breeze as they whispered ancient secrets on the wind, their soft murmurs mingling with the sound of Emma's own gentle breathing. The afternoon sunlight continued its slow descent towards the horizon, casting a warm glow over the forest ranger station and infusing every molecule of air with its peaceful essence. As she gently turned the pages, the soft whispers of the ancient stories mingled with the scent of old paper, weaving a tapestry of all calm around her. The worn wooden desk creaked softly beneath her hands as she rested them upon it, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns carved into its surface. Outside, the tree's gentle sway seemed to mirror the rhythm of her own slow breathing, while the rustling leaves created a soft serration that blended with the quiet hum of the forest, drawing Emma deeper into the peaceful atmosphere. The afternoon sunlight cast long shadows across the floor, stretching and twisting like tendrils of a mystical vine, as if trying to reach out and envelop her in its warm embrace. As she rested her hands on the worn wooden desk, Emma's gaze drifted towards the small window, where the afternoon sunlight cast a soft glow on the forest floor. The tree's gentle sway seemed to be drawing her attention, their branches stretching out like nature's own rhythmic fingers, beckoning her closer. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves wafted in through the open window, mingling with the musty aroma of old books, creating a heady mixture that wrapped itself around her like a warm cloak. Outside, a small brook babbled softly to itself, its gentle voice weaving in and out of the forest symphony, as if trying to convey some ancient secret to Emma alone. The air was heavy with the promise of secrets yet to be uncovered, whispers of tales long forgotten, and the soft rustling of leaves that seemed to hold the entire world in suspension. As her gaze drifted back to the worn wooden desk, Emma's fingers began to dance across its surface, tracing the intricate patterns carved into the wood with a slow and deliberate pace. The soft creaking of the desk beneath her touch seemed to harmonize with the gentle sway of the trees outside, creating a soothing melody that wrapped itself around her like a warm blanket. The afternoon sunlight continued its slow descent towards the horizon, casting long shadows across the floor that stretched and twisted like tendrils of a mystical vine. Outside, the small brook babbled softly to itself, its gentle voice weaving in and out of the forest's symphony, as if trying to convey some ancient secret to Emma alone. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves wafted in through the open window, mingling with the musty aroma of old books, creating a heady mixture that wrapped itself around her like a warm cloak. The soft creaking of the desk beneath her fingers seemed to awaken a sense of calm within Emma, as if the gentle motion was stirring up memories long buried in her mind. Her gaze drifted further down the worn wooden surface, tracing the intricate patterns carved into its surface with an unhurried pace. The afternoon sunlight cast a warm glow upon the wood, imbuing it with a sense of age and wisdom that seemed to seep deep into Emma's very being. As she breathed in deeply, the scent of old books and damp earth mingled with the sweet aroma of fresh-cut grass wafting in from outside, creating a heady mixture that wrapped itself around her like a soft blanket. As Emma's fingers continued their slow dance across the desk, the patterns began to blur and fade away, replaced by visions of a long-forgotten afternoon, spent wandering through the forest, leaves crunching beneath her feet, as she followed the gentle curve of a hidden stream. The soft rustling of the trees grew louder, their whispers weaving together in a soothing melody that seemed to draw Emma deeper into the heart of the forest, where ancient secrets waited to be unearthed. Outside, the small brook babbled softly to itself, its gentle voice harmonizing with the creaking of the desk as it lulled her further into the realm of dreams. The soft hum of the old clock on the mantel seemed to synchronize with the gentle swaying of the trees outside, creating a sense of time standing still as Emma's fingers continued their slow dance across the desk. The worn wooden surface felt smooth beneath her touch, like the gentle lapping of the brook against its banks. Her gaze drifted up to the old clock face, where the hands seemed to move in slow motion, marking the passage of time with a quiet reverence. As she breathed out slowly, the scent of old books and damp earth mingled with the faint aroma of candle wax wafting from the corner of the room, creating a sense of warmth and comfort that wrapped itself around her like a soft blanket. The creaking of the desk grew softer, its gentle rhythm merging with the distant hum of the clock as Emma's fingers continued their slow exploration of the worn wooden surface. The afternoon sunlight seemed to deepen in hue, casting a warm orange glow upon the room that mingled with the soft scent of old books and damp earth. Outside, the trees stood tall and still, their leaves rustling softly in the gentle breeze like the pages of an ancient tome. As Emma's gaze drifted upwards, the wooden beams of the ceiling seemed to stretch outwards, forming a natural cathedral that sheltered her from the world beyond. The soft ticking of the clock grew louder, its rhythm weaving together with the creaking of the desk and the distant brook to create a lulling melody that drew Emma deeper into the heart of the forest. The worn wooden floorboards beneath her feet seemed to whisper secrets as she wandered away from the desk, the afternoon sunlight casting long shadows across the room like fingers stretching out to gather scattered leaves. The scent of old books and damp earth clung to her skin as she moved, blending with the faint aroma of candle wax to create a sense of cozy familiarity. Outside, the forest floor rustled softly in response to the gentle breeze, its soft whispers intertwining with the distant hum of the clock and the creaking of the desk to form a soothing melody that seemed to draw Emma deeper into the quiet stillness of the afternoon. The soft folds of her jacket seemed to unfold themselves as she drifted towards the door, the worn wooden frame blending seamlessly with the rough-hewn boards beneath her feet. The scent of old books and damp earth mingled with the faint aroma of candle wax, weaving a tapestry of calm that enveloped her like a warm blanket. Outside, the trees stood sentinel, their leafy branches stretching outwards like nature's own cathedral, filtering the afternoon sunlight into dappled patterns across the forest floor. As she stepped onto the wooden porch, the creaking of the old boards beneath her feet harmonized with the distant hum of Oz, the clock and the rustling of leaves, creating a lulling symphony that seemed to draw her deeper into the heart of the forest. The wooden slats of the porch creaked softly beneath her feet as she stepped out into the warm sunlight, its gentle rays casting a path of golden light across the forest floor. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves filled her nostrils, mingling with the sweet aroma of blooming wildflowers that grew in profusion around the edge of the clearing. As she breathed deeply, the soft rustle of leaves seemed to grow louder, weaving together with the distant ticking of the clock and the creaking of the old porch to create a soothing melody that seemed to draw her deeper into the heart of the forest. The trees stood tall and still around her, their leafy branches stretching outwards like nature's own cathedral, filtering the afternoon sunlight into dappled patterns across the forest floor. As she wandered further from the station, the sound of running water grew louder, its gentle babbling harmonizing with the rustling leaves and creaking porch to create a symphony that seemed to draw her closer to the heart of the forest. As she rounded a bend in the winding path, the sunlight filtering through the trees caught her eye, casting dappled shadows across the forest floor like a natural mosaic. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves grew stronger, mingling with the sweet aroma of blooming wildflowers that seemed to grow more vibrant with every step. The sound of running water grew louder still, its gentle babbling weaving together with the rustling leaves and creaking porch to create a symphony that seemed to draw her closer to the heart of the forest. The sunlight filtering through the trees cast long shadows across the forest floor, like nature's own pathway unwinding before her. With each step, the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves grew stronger, mingling with the sweet aroma of blooming wildflowers that seemed to grow more vibrant with every step. The sound of running water grew louder still, its gentle babbling harmonizing with the rustling leaves and creaking porch to create a symphony that seemed to draw her deeper into the forest's heart. As she walked, the trees grew taller and closer together, their leafy branches weaving together above her like a natural canopy, filtering the sunlight into dappled patterns across the forest floor. As she walked, the trees grew taller and closer together, their leafy branches weaving together above her like a natural canopy, filtering the sunlight into dappled patterns across the forest floor. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves grew stronger, mingling with the sweet aroma of blooming wildflowers that seemed to grow more vibrant with every step. The sound of running water grew louder still, its gentle babbling harmonizing with the rustling leaves and creaking porch to create a symphony that seemed to draw her deeper into the heart of the forest. The air was filled with the soft hum of insects and the gentle sway of ferns as she made her way around a bend in the path, the forest floor giving way to a clearing surrounded by towering trees that seemed to lean in, their branches tangling together above her like nature's own embracing arms. The gentle rustle of leaves and snapping of twigs beneath her feet created a soothing melody as she stepped into the clearing, the towering trees forming a natural amphitheater around her. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves was replaced by the sweet aroma of blooming ferns, their delicate fronds swaying softly in the breeze like a chorus of gentle ballerinas. As she walked further into the clearing, the sound of running water grew fainter, replaced by the soft hum of insects and the distant call of a bird, its melodic trill weaving together with the rustling leaves to create a symphony that seemed to lull her deeper into the heart of the forest. The towering trees seemed to lean in, their branches tangling together above her like nature's own embracing arms. As she walked further into the clearing, the soft hum of insects and the distant call of a bird blended with the gentle rustle of leaves and snapping of twigs beneath her feet, creating a soothing melody that seemed to draw her deeper into the forest's heart. The sunlight filtering through the trees created dappled patterns on the forest floor, where a carpet of ferns and wildflowers softly swayed in the gentle breeze. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves lingered, mingling with the sweet aroma of blooming flowers as she walked further into the clearing, her footsteps quiet on the soft earth. As she breathed in deeply, the forest scents seemed to swirl around her like a gentle mist, carrying the whispers of ancient secrets and forgotten tales. The dappled sunlight filtering through, the trees created a natural canvas of shadows and light, where the ferns and wildflowers softly swayed, their delicate fronds rustling softly against each other, like the tender pages of an old book. As she wandered further into the clearing, the trees' embracing arms seemed to draw her closer to the heart of the forest, where the scent of blooming wildflowers and damp earth mingled with the soft hum of insects, creating a heady perfume that filled her lungs. Her footsteps quiet on the forest floor, she breathed in deeply, letting the forest's secrets unfold like a gentle mist around her, as the sunlight filtering through the trees created dappled patterns on the forest floor, where ferns and wildflowers softly swayed in the breeze, their delicate fronds rustling against each other like the tender pages of an old book. The distant call of a bird still lingered, its melodic trill weaving together with the gentle rustle of leaves to create a symphony that seemed to draw her deeper into the forest's heart, as she moved slowly, her body swaying gently to the rhythm of the forest's song. As she walked further, the trees grew taller and the underbrush thicker, forcing her to slow her pace and navigate through a thicket of branches and leaves. The rustling of their stems against each other created a soothing background hum, like the gentle purring of a contented cat, as she pushed aside the foliage and stepped into a small clearing surrounded by a ring of ancient trees. Their gnarled trunks twisted and turned in impossible ways, their bark rough and weathered from countless seasons of snow and rain. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and moss, and the sunlight filtering through the canopy above cast dappled shadows on the forest floor, where a carpet of soft grasses and wildflowers softly swayed in the breeze. As she stood at the edge of the clearing, the ancient trees' twisted limbs seemed to reach out like withered fingers, drawing her into their secret circle. The scent of damp earth and moss deepened, filling her lungs as she breathed in slowly, her body swaying gently to the rhythm of the forest's quiet pulse. Her footsteps silent on the soft grasses, she felt the weight of time settle upon her, like a gentle blanket of leaves softly rustling in the afternoon breeze. The trees' rough bark seemed to whisper secrets in her ear, their gnarled branches tangling together like the delicate fingers of a sleeping giant, as the sunlight filtering through the canopy above cast dappled shadows on the forest floor, where a carpet of soft floor, grasses and wildflowers softly swayed in the breeze. The ancient trees' twisted limbs seemed to relax, their gnarled branches slowly unraveling like the tendrils of a vine as she drew closer. The scent of damp earth and moss deepened, filling her lungs as she breathed in slowly, her body swaying gently to the rhythm of the forest's quiet pulse. Her footsteps silent on the soft grasses, she felt the weight of time settle upon her, like a gentle blanket of leaves softly rustling in the afternoon breeze. As she moved deeper into the clearing, the sunlight filtering through the canopy above cast dappled shadows on the forest floor, where a carpet of soft grasses and wildflowers softly swayed in the breeze. The air was heavy with the scent of decay and rebirth, as the trees' rough bark seemed to whisper secrets in her ear, their gnarled branches tangling together like the delicate fingers of a sleeping giant. The silence deepened, a gentle hum of insects and small creatures weaving into the tapestry of sounds. As she wandered further into the clearing, her footsteps quiet on the soft grasses, the ancient trees' twisted limbs seemed to lean in, their rough bark glinting like worn stone, as the sunlight filtering through the canopy above cast dappled shadows on the forest floor, where a carpet of wildflowers softly swayed in the breeze. As she wandered deeper into the clearing, her footsteps quiet on the soft grasses, the scent of damp earth and moss grew stronger, mingling with the sweet fragrance of blooming wildflowers. The trees' rough bark seemed to glow in the fading light, their gnarled branches stretching out like arms embracing her as she moved closer. The air was heavy with the promise of spring's awakening, as if the forest itself was slowly stirring from a long winter's sleep. Her breathing slowed, her body swaying gently to the rhythm of the forest's quiet pulse, as the ancient trees' twisted limbs seemed to relax, their branches slowly unraveling like the tendrils of a vine. The silence deepened, a gentle hum of insects and small creatures weaving into the tapestry of sounds. As she stood at the edge of the clearing, her eyes drinking in the beauty of this secret world, where time itself seemed to stand still. The forest's ancient heartbeat slowed further, its pulse growing more languid as the afternoon sun dipped lower in the sky. The The tree's gnarled branches seemed to relax their grip on the air, releasing a whispered promise of warmth and light that wrapped itself around her like a soft blanket. As she breathed in the scent of damp earth and moss, her body swayed gently, her steps slowing to match the forest's tranquil rhythm. The sun's warm rays slipped below the treetops, casting a gentle rustle over the clearing as the leaves whispered their evening song. The air thickened with the scent of ripe berries and fresh-cut grass, wafting upwards in sweet tendrils that danced around her like fireflies on a summer night. Her breathing synchronized with the forest's pulse, slow and deliberate as she drifted across the clearing, her feet sinking into the soft earth as if drawn by an unseen force. The trees gnarled. Branches seemed to stretch out, embracing her once more, their rough bark glowing softly in the fading light like a constellation of ancient stars. As she moved further into the clearing, the rustling leaves created a soft susurration that enveloped her, a gentle melody weaving together with the scent of damp earth and moss, as if the forest itself was humming a lullaby to guide her deeper. The tree's gnarled branches seemed to weave a subtle tapestry around her, their rough bark glowing softly in the fading light like embers from a dying fire. Her breathing slowed further, her body swaying gently to the rhythm of the forest's quiet pulse, as if she was a leaf floating down a slow-moving stream, carried effortlessly by the current of time. The air grew heavier with the scent of ripe berries and fresh-cut grass, wafting upwards in sweet tendrils that danced around her like fireflies on a summer night, their soft glow illuminating the path ahead, leading her deeper into the heart of the forest. As she drifted further, the tree's branches seemed to grow taller and closer, their gnarled limbs intertwining, like nature's own lattice work, casting dappled shadows that danced across her skin as if tracing the path of a lazy sunbeam. The air thickened with the scent of honeyed sap and warm bark, sweet aromas that mingled with the forest's evening song, drawing her deeper into the clearing where the tree's ancient heartbeat grew stronger, their pulse pulsating like a gentle drumbeat that guided her movements as she swayed and drifted, her breathing slow and deliberate, her body sinking deeper into the soft earth as if drawn by an unseen force. The forest's quiet majesty, its secrets unfolding like a tapestry of whispers, ancient stories woven from the threads of time itself. As she surrendered to the forest's gentle grasp, the tree's branches parted like a curtain, revealing a glade hidden deep within the clearing. The air was heavy with the scent of ripe fruit and the soft chirping of birds, their melodic songs weaving together in a soothing tapestry that enveloped her like a warm blanket. The earth beneath her feet grew softer still, like a thick layer of moss, and she felt herself sinking further into its gentle embrace, her body swaying to the rhythm of the forest's quiet pulse, as if it were a slow waltz, her breathing deepening in time with the tree's ancient heartbeat. As she settled deeper into the mossy earth, the glade's silence was punctuated only by the occasional rustle of leaves and the soft chirping of birds, their songs weaving together in a gentle melody that seemed to match the beat of her own heart. The air grew heavier with the scent of ale, blooming wildflowers, their delicate petals unfolding like tiny stars in the fading light, as if the forest itself was surrendering to the quiet majesty of the evening. As she rested in the glade's soft silence, the tree's branches began to sway in a slow, deliberate rhythm, their leaves whispering secrets to each other like an unseen chorus, the air thickening with the scent of damp earth and new growth. The forest floor beneath her grew spongy and yielding, like a thick layer of moss or a carpet of feathers, softening her footsteps as she moved, her breathing slow and gentle, her body swaying in time with the tree's ancient heartbeat, as if she were being cradled by an unseen force, the glade's secrets unfolding like a tapestry of whispers around her. As the last rays of sunlight faded from view, the forest floor began to glow with a soft, ethereal light, as if the very essence of the trees was seeping into the earth itself. The air grew cooler and more tranquil, heavy with the scent of damp leaves and the gentle hum of crickets, their melodic songs weaving together in a soothing tapestry that enveloped her like a warm blanket. The forest floor's soft glow spread across the glade, casting an otherworldly light upon the tree's twisted limbs and the delicate petals of the wildflowers. The air thickened with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, releasing their secrets to the gentle rustle of the breeze. As she breathed in deeply, her body swayed in time with the forest's ancient heartbeat, her footsteps quiet on the yielding moss as she drifted deeper into the glade's silent heart. The tree's branches parted further still, revealing a hidden path winding through the underbrush, its surface etched with the soft lines of age and wisdom. The air grew heavy with the scent of damp leaves and decaying wood, releasing the forest's secrets to the gentle rustle of the breeze. The soft glow of the forest floor spread across the glade, casting an otherworldly light upon the tree's twisted limbs and the delicate petals of the wildflowers. As she breathed in deeply, her body swayed in time with the forest's ancient heartbeat, her footsteps quiet on the yielding moss as she followed the hidden path, winding deeper into the underbrush, its surface etched with the soft lines of age and wisdom. The tree's branches whispered secrets to one another, their leaves rustling softly in response, as if sharing ancient tales of the forest's heart. The air thickened further, heavy with the scent of damp earth and hidden streams, releasing the glade's deepest mysteries to her slowly drifting footsteps. The soft glow of the forest floor spread across the path, casting an ethereal light upon the twisted roots and decaying branches, weaving a tapestry of quiet contemplation around her. The gentle rustle of leaves enveloped her as she walked, the soft earth beneath her feet releasing its ancient stories to the whispering breeze. The forest's secrets unfolded like a slow-moving river, its tranquil current carrying her deeper into the heart of the glade. The tree's twisted limbs seemed to lean in, their branches tangling together above her head like nature's own cathedral, filtering the soft light and casting dappled shadows across the path. Her footsteps grew quieter still, as if the very forest itself was swallowing her up, its ancient heartbeat pulsing through her veins like a gentle drumbeat. The forest's secrets unfolded like a slow-moving river, its tranquil current carrying her deeper into the heart of the glade. The tree's twisted limbs seemed to lean in, their branches tangling together above her head, like nature's own cathedral, filtering the soft light and casting dappled shadows across the path. Her footsteps grew quieter still, as if the very forest itself was swallowing her up, its ancient heartbeat pulsing through her veins like a gentle drumbeat. The air thickened further, heavy with the scent of damp earth and hidden streams, releasing the glade's deepest mysteries to her slowly drifting footsteps. As she walked, the forest floor began to surrender its ancient tales, the soft earth crumbling beneath her feet like a gentle tide. The tree's branches seemed to release their grip on the air, allowing the scent of damp earth and hidden streams to swirl around her like a whispered promise. Her breathing slowed, synchronizing with the forest's heartbeat, as if she had finally found the harmony that lay at the very heart of this sacred place. The rustle of leaves grew softer still, until it was barely audible, leaving only the gentle hum of the forest's pulse and the soft crunch of her footsteps to fill the air. The tree's ancient limbs seemed to relax their vigil, releasing a flurry of fluttering leaves that danced around her like nature's own confetti, each one carrying a fragment of the forest's secrets on its delicate membrane. The soft earth continued to yield beneath her feet, as if the glade itself was surrendering its deepest mysteries to her slow and reverent steps. With each passing moment, the world seemed to slow its pace, until even the forest's gentle hum had given way to an expectant stillness, as if all of nature held its breath in anticipation of some unseen revelation. The tree's ancient limbs began to unfurl like wrinkled fingers, releasing a shower of golden light that filtered through the canopy above, casting an ethereal glow across the forest floor. The soft earth yielded further still, its secrets unfolding like a tapestry woven from threads of ancient stories and forgotten memories. Her footsteps slowed to a gentle pause, as if hesitant to disturb the tranquility of this sacred space, where how the very fabric of time seemed to be unraveling before her eyes. As she stood there, suspended in the heart of the glade, the golden light began to seep into the cracks and crevices of the ancient trees, like a gentle rain awakening long-dormant secrets. The air thickened further, heavy with the scent of petrichor and the whispers of forgotten tales, as if the very essence of the forest was slowly coalescing around her. Her breath slowed to match the rhythm of the forest's pulse, and she felt herself becoming one with the land, a thread woven into the intricate tapestry of time and memory. The tree's branches seemed to relax their grip on reality, releasing a soft, shimmering mist that swirled around her like a diaphanous cloak, carrying the whispers of ancient wisdoms on its ethereal currents. As she breathed in the scents and secrets of the glade, the mist began to condense into delicate filaments that wrapped around her like a fragile gauze. The golden light continued to seep into the ancient tree's crevices, illuminating hidden patterns and stories etched into their hair. Bark over centuries, her footsteps no longer seemed necessary, as if she had merged with the forest's very essence, her steps dissolving into the misty veil that now surrounded her. Time itself appeared to bend and warp, folding in upon itself like an origami bird, its edges unfolding to reveal hidden truths and forgotten melodies. The air vibrated with an expectant hush, as if all of nature held its breath in anticipation of some unseen revelation, while the forest's ancient pulse beat steadily on, a slow drumbeat guiding her deeper into the heart of the glade. Now, as the story gently fades away, let the words rest, let the sounds remain. Allow the gentle, calming sounds to carry you, slowly and naturally, into deep, peaceful sleep.